Steve Basic Architect. Yeah, you know, it's funny, walking around here thinking about what we're going to shoot for videos, and I recall a number of times people have always said, hey, you never show us how to seal the windows. You've done a number of videos and you always talk about how to install the window and sill pans and all that stuff, but you never come back and show us how did you seal that window up and how did you get those air tightness, you know, passive house numbers. How are you getting those houses down to 0.3, 0.2, 0.4, whatever that number is. So guess what? Today is the day. Today we're going to talk about how we're sealing the inside of some of these windows. So I'm out at the Build Show Build Boston site. If you remember, we've installed some anthracite gray. These are European style tilt turn windows. This is actually a fixed unit, hence you don't see any handles here. And these are triple glazed windows, aluminum frame. The aluminum frame is thermally broken. We've installed it with a sill pan. You can see here we have our back dam, and I can actually put my finger down in there so that any water that gets into the system will then go into that sill pan and get drained out. I've done a number of videos where we talk about that, rain screen systems. Go check those out. But in terms of air sealing, we have the window, we brought our weather resistant barrier around the corner and brought it in. So now we have to make that connection. Well, what is the right material for that? Well, one of my favorites, it's made by a company called Sega. And the reason it's one of my favorites is it's actually twofold, and you're going to love why I use that twofold name. Because the tape itself is twofold, right? They actually make the tape so that this is a tape that's specifically made to air seal windows. So it has a very short leg that you can fold up. You can attach that to the window, and then you have the long leg here to attach to your weather resistant barrier. So you can see in the case here, they've attached it at the window on that fold, and that's nothing more than basically putting this, I'm going to pretend that this 2x4 is the window, and putting that on the window like that, and then it allows you to have this flange to now connect to the inside of that rough opening, right? So the Sega guys and gals, they just make it such an easy way to work with. And this is their Fentrum tape. They're distributed all over, actually they're distributed in many parts of the world, but in terms of North America, you can get it across Canada, you can get it anywhere in the United States. If you're having a problem getting it, call me. I happen to be friends with the guy that's in charge of North America and Sega, and we'll make sure that we get whatever you need out to your job site. So it's highly aggressive tape, and again, because of that twofold, it really takes the pain out of installing this tape. So I'm just going to set this down. And so what do we do here? You can see we put that flange on the window, and then we bring that and tape that over onto our weather resistant barrier. And that's basically providing the interior air seal. And we basically do that on all four sides of the window. Now, if you remember, I don't think we have one here where the clips are fully extended, but we have these bumps here. These are the installation clips from the Schuco windows. And typically they were out here at maybe about +1 inch to the opening. But the general contractor simply went around and basically cut them all back there, and then by cutting them back, it allows for the tape to simply come over and just encase those clips in the outside of the air barrier. So remember, when we're talking about air barrier continuity, we want it to be continuous, but the biggest thing about air barrier is understanding, are you inside or outside of the air barrier system, right? So in this case here, if I consider the tape as my air barrier system, then the clips are outside of the house. Now, yes, here, technically they're inside, they're under the roof, I get it. I'm arguing from an air tightness perspective. Because they're on the outside of our air barrier, then technically they're outside of the house, and everything on this side of the tape is inside the house. So we'll go around and we'll basically tape off all four sides, and then that will make that connection from our weather resistant barrier to the window. The window will act as our air barrier system until we get to the other side of the rough opening, and then we'll repeat that tape detail, and then the WRB will take it back outside, and the Zip R9 will maintain that continuity on the outside of our building. So it's a pretty simple system. You know, one of the favorite quotes that Joe Stieberg would make at Building Science Corporation, a lot of people like to complicate building science, and he would say, it's building science, it's not rocket science, right? So his point was that building a building is complex enough. Let's not make it more complicated than it needs to be. So let's keep our details really simple. We have that frame. Now, in the near future, what will happen is we're going to come in, we're going to establish what kind of reveal we want on our windows, and then they'll pad out all of these openings, and the finish carpenter, depending on where the window is located, will have some type of interior extension jamb. It might be gypsum board, it might be wood, it might be a stone sill, but those will all come in, and this tape will be forever buried inside that wall assembly, but doing its job as part of our air barrier system. Anyways, so you saw it here. We're out again, out at the Build Show Build Boston site. I'm Steve Bazek, and that's air sealing the window on the inside. Until next time, long live our buildings.